Hey guys, welcome to Night Owls, and it's good to be here. How you doing, Sasha?
Good, how you doing?
Good, good. And guys, tonight's kind of a special episode because Sasha was off work. She's going to make it up on another day. So instead of doing the Ramsey Paul show, I just thought we'd kind of combine it with Night Owls. And it's always fun to see you, Sasha. I thought we could talk about AMRen and we could talk about the movie Heretic, and maybe we could talk about the Trump appointments and maybe about healthcare. I mean, we got a lot of stuff we can go over. And there's a special announcement I want to make. I have done the funky dance. I've done
You
the funky
have.
dance. I have. And what we'll do is when before the show ends tonight, we will shut down the YouTube part, and I'll give you guys notice, and you can go over to X or Rumble, and then we'll show you the funky dance. Sasha hasn't even seen it yet. So, Sasha, you can give your review of my dance live. It'll be a live premiere, one of those reaction videos. So you got to make one of those reaction faces like, something like that. So Funky Dance is coming later tonight. It's already loaded to Rumble.
Yeah, I kind of hate those things. Those
A lot of
e-thoughts
things.
always do that.
Oh,
The
that,
whole
yeah,
like
those,
anyway, like
I did that
the
on
reaction
I
shot.
was talking
They're so
about that.
fake.
I know I was talking about that, how everything's fake and gay, which was a speech I gave, but it really is. And I think monetization of social media has made it worse. So everything is hyperbole or exaggeration. Like if there's a minor missile attack, you have people like Alex Jones, oh my God, nuclear warfare. And they show a thumbnail with mushroom clouds and flames. And people love that shit. I guess it's clickbait. People like it. Or you get girls, they show their cleavage. And guess what I learned today about Elton John or whatever? They go like that. And it's
Oh
so
yeah.
cringy. But yeah, that
I kind of
is
hate
how
that
that is.
shit, that clickbait stuff.
Yeah, it's getting a little old, I think, but it's that's where we live right now, so it kind of sucks. So, and guys, thank you if you're new, welcome. Uh, I'm still trying to figure out the show, what times to do it. This week was kind of off because I had my car in the shop. Last week we went to the AMRen conference, so uh, I'm getting back on speed though, but I've been doing it in the evening, and I might do it in the day too. I don't know. I have to figure this out. But tonight we're doing it at this time, obviously. We're kind of combine Night Owls with this show. Oh, and if you're a Gumroad subscriber or GroupApp or on Twitter, we will do a roundtable this Sunday. We'll get back in that. Last week I missed, but this Sunday it'll be Sunday at noon. So I'm looking forward to get back to the roundtable. I met some people, Sasha. I won't say their names, keep them private, but they are on our roundtable, and it was really good to meet some people in real life.
Oh yeah, I met the same guy you did, but then one of the guys we had met before, he came here to
Hmm.
visit you, and we kind of kept in touch with him, and he was there, and we didn't even know he was going to be there, so that was kind of a nice surprise.
Yeah, it was. We didn't really announce we're going, and I had a blast. I always have a lot of fun. If you guys get a chance, go to it. It's sold out. Probably 300 people there, I think, was how much. And met a lot of people. Some people we could talk about because it's not secret. Z-Man was there. He was a really interesting guy. I think you liked him a lot too, didn't you?
Yeah, he was really cool. He was really friendly. I liked everybody I met.
Yeah,
I thought everyone was really nice, and a lot of people came up to me and told me that they like night owls, so it was kind of strange. And you were busy. It was funny the first night, like Friday, our friend Mosca went with us, and we were looking over at Paul, and he's like, "Yeah, he's in his element here." Like you were surrounded by all these dudes talking to you. It was kind of funny because we I wanted to find Jared, and
yeah.
so me and Mosca scoped out Jared and found him, and he was just talking to like one guy. So we went up and I introduced myself, and he was really a cool guy. I was really excited to meet him. My only regret is I wish we'd gone to this a long time ago. I don't know why we never did. Like we
Well,
should have gone a long
I've
time
been.
ago.
I
Well,
haven't
yeah,
had
you
a
had, so you
well
didn't care if
year.
I went.
It's been years ago though. Last time I was there was 2016, And I think I got kind of blackpilled because of the whole Charlottesville thing, even though Jared Taylor had nothing to do with that. And so it's, I think, kind of all the goofballs have been gone their own way. I won't say who the goofball names are, but they've kind of gone on. And so it's nice there because people are different in real life than on the internet. You know, on the internet, it'd be weird if people in real life would come up to you and just say, "Boomer," or call you, you know, that one ethnic group. It's funny how that works. But in real life, everyone's real sweet and nice. And I saw Anthony Cumia. He was great. Had a great time to see him. Obviously, he was a busy guy because everyone wants to talk to him. But he came up to me a couple times. And I'm just trying to think of the people I met that I can say, because obviously we keep privacy of other people. But
Right.
those, and Jared, of course.
Amy
And his
Wax, we met her.
Amy Wax, real sweet. She got a lot of pushback because she's Jewish. It's so bizarre how people can get so. Uh, I don't know. I don't really understand that whole thing because there's a lot of Jew people that are really on our side, like her and Stephen Miller. I think he's the most base guy in the Trump administration. He's Jewish, so
Well, it's
I don't
probably, I
really
guess,
have an
just
issue.
because overall they're more against us than for us, but there's some good
Yeah,
ones too.
I think so, and you can get kind of spurgy about it, and I'm not that guy. I know some people that's their whole everything is just about that subject, and I find it a little tiresome to be honest. It's almost like the ADL pays people to do that just so it kind of discredits it. You know what I mean? I'm
Hmm.
not saying they do, but it's just I don't know. And it was a good mix of people, and as Sasha said, you said it's mostly like older people or a lot younger people too, wasn't it? There wasn't
Yeah, it
almost
seemed.
many in the middle.
Yeah, it did. It seemed like a lot of like younger. There was people with kids there, like babies, and there were a
Yeah.
lot of couples, and then there was a lot of older guys. I didn't see a lot of people my age. Like it seemed like it was younger or older. At least as far as people I met. I don't know. I met a couple of people that are around my age, but
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was a
know.
good mix, and the party was fun on Saturday nights. That's always kind of a highlight, just everyone casual and meeting.
Yeah, I had a
And
great time at the party.
mhm.
The party was so much fun. I would have probably stayed later, but we had to get up early the next day to leave, and what we were going to do kind of fell through anyway. So I could have just stayed up later, but I didn't get a good night's sleep. The last day I felt rested was all like the day it was the day to go home is the day I started to feel rested because Mosca stayed the night Thursday, so we could be up and ready to go Friday to leave. And so we stayed up till 3 a.m. talking. And then Brandon came over because he had to watch Button, and he came over at like 7. So then I tried to go back to sleep, and then the car rental they canceled on us, or they weren't going to have our car ready. So we had to drive all the way to the airport to get a car. And I was exhausted, and I think Mosca was exhausted, and you were probably exhausted by the time we got there. And it was almost like
Yeah,
being in a fever dream by the time we got there. And I don't know, it was just, I had a really good time, and I definitely want to go back next year. And
from where
Paul's
we
speech
live
was
is.
hilarious.
Oh, you liked it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the best. Mosca said so too. I think your speech was better than Kumia's speech, really. It was
Oh, you're
funny. It was almost
biased.
like stand up. No, Mosca agreed. It was almost like stand up comedy. Like you got up there really almost like a stand up act. And you said some guy asked you if you did stand up because
Yeah,
it was really good. It was really
I
funny.
well, see, I have to do what I do because a lot of the people they're really good speakers. They, by the way, and I'm not just saying this. All the ones I've been to, this was, I think, the strongest speaking lineup. There wasn't a speaker I didn't like. There's been
Same
other
here.
conferences, the speakers have been real boring. There wasn't any boring speaker, but a lot of the speakers were more academic or they taught at universities. I think we had a couple of university professors, and that's cool, but that's just not really who I am. So, and my speech was in the middle of the afternoon and people get tired. So I did a different take on it. I didn't know I was going to go. I always think, you know, I told Jared, well, this may be the last time I'm invited here, but I had fun with it and it was a lot of fun. So, good to meet people in real life. And it's a beautiful drive. Tennessee's a beautiful state. Didn't you think so?
Hmm. It looked like the park where they had AMRen. It reminded me of like Camp Crystal Lake or something.
Yeah.
That's what I kept thinking of the whole time was Jason Voorhees is going to come out of the woods. Like it was really pretty though. I wish we could have gone on walks. I said next year we should go a day early because you'd said Nashville was nice, but we just didn't have time. And then on the way back, we were going to go to Graceland, and we got all the way to Graceland. And then the admission to get in was pretty pricey, and Mosca didn't want to go through it. And then we didn't have time because it said if you do because the base admission didn't include the house.
It's expensive. I was like surprised.
$80.
I know. I thought it'd be like $20.
Go through all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really thought
50 tops, but so we decided not to go, and we'll maybe go back next year or something. I might see if I can find a Groupon for it or something because it's kind of expensive. But so we ended up going back, but we didn't get home till what, like 7 or 8? I can't remember. Yeah, it was around 7 or 8 when we got back on Sunday night.
It was. We went to Graceland, and we decided not to go through the tour at that time. We will eventually probably. A couple of reasons because of the time it would take, like 4 hours. It was pretty pricey too, and we wanted to get back. So, but it was interesting to see because people that were from Memphis. I guess Memphis is not a very safe city for reasons. I guess you guys can probably guess. And
well, it was funny. Like right when we got.
No, it's just people were warning us from that area not to stop in gas stations in Memphis because you could get shot or robbed.
Well, we stopped on the way there. We stopped like somewhere outside of Memphis to get gas, and some black guy, like he was just kind of roaming the gas station.
Yeah, that's right.
And like I was like, oh God, I was trying not to make eye contact. We're in the car, and you're getting out to get gas, and he made a
hey, hold up.
And then he started like going to some long speech, and I didn't know how to get the gas cap off, or
he was begging. He was begging for money, is what he was doing.
Well, he wouldn't stop talking to you, and you wouldn't get away from him. So I was just like, "Hey, Paul, we're kind of in a hurry. You want to come over here and show me?" And you walked over there, and I kind of saved you from that guy. And it's like you got to just ignore people like that and say, "Hey, I sorry, I can't help you," and move on.
Yeah, so we ditched him. I should have told him once you go. There's a lot of your black brothers around here. Once you ask them for money.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get robbed.
Yeah, I know. But it was weird because this gas station, it was like off the highway, and it wasn't like in the city type of gas station. That's why it surprised me you'd have a bum running around there.
It was
like a Love's or something. Yeah, it was just one. If you've ever traveled, guys, on the highway, Love's are popular around here. They're kind of like truck stops and convenience store, that type of stuff. And so it was really weird to see some wandering black guy, trying to scam people of money. But that was like our introduction to the Memphis area.
Well, and then when we went to when we were going to Graceland, there was this like table set up outside of a store or something, and this fat black lady and her little daughter, and she was out there doing this. Remember that? And she was just like,
she was rivaled and it was really sweet. The little girl, she had to be what, 6 or 7 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, she's just a little girl.
But boy, she was just doing a real funky dance at that age already. I'm like, man, it's nothing wrong with that. It's just you see differences in the ethnic groups, and she was happy in her element. It's just like it seems like everyone should be around clapping, in the fields.
I was talking about how I wonder if the Graceland was always in such a bad neighborhood. Like when Elvis was around in Moscow.
It wasn't. I looked that up. It used to be.
Yeah. He said it's Elvis's fault because he treated them like people. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah, so he got the curse. Yeah, that area is kind of bad now, but when Elvis lived there, I guess it was kind of like, it was in Memphis, but it was in kind of outside of like the major area or whatever. It's pretty a ways from downtown.
Yeah, it was an awesome time, and it was awesome to get to hang out in Moscow because we never get to spend like the weekend together. When we were young, God, we lived together. We hung out all the time. What was that episode of It's Always Sunny where he had a sidekick? Remember that?
Yes.
Sidekick. Me and Moscow were each other's sidekicks back in the day. And so it was kind of like, it's kind of like the old days of us going to this and get to meet Jared Taylor, which was like kind of like, I don't know, bucket list item. And then I told you I bet G-Man would be there.
We also met his wife, very sweet lady.
Yeah.
And she looked kind of academic to me too, I think she was. So it looked like a good match for him. So that was neat. And
hopefully I didn't make too much of a fool out of myself in front of him. He called Paul on the way home, and I said, "Tell Jared we love him." And Paul was like, "Sasha says She loves you. He sounded all let down about it, and he said, well, I love you guys too. But he's
Yeah.
such a nice man. He's shorter than I thought. Everybody's short to me now, and I think it's because of you and Brando. And Brando said that too, because Brandon's 6'8". And he goes, yeah, everyone's short to you because you're used to hanging out with me and Paul. And it's like, yeah, because you guys are like giants, and everybody, even if you're like 6'1" or something, you come off as short because I'm
Yeah.
used to hanging out with like really tall people.
Yeah, it was on Sasha, you had your boots on, which has high heels, right? So
Yes.
that made you even a little bit taller. And that was kind of fun. And how are tall? You're about 5'7", flat-footed, or what would you
Five
say?
eight,
5'8". So you're
five eight.
you're pretty tall for a girl, really, I think. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, but I'm, obviously a lot of people when they meet me, they're always surprised. They think I'm shorter for some reason. I don't know why
They
that
do. Didn't
is.
somebody say that to you at AMRen?
Yeah,
Didn't somebody
and
say
this
that?
time they did go, "Oh, I always thought you'd be shorter." And here's a picture that we took, and I kind of photobombed it. It was kind of funny. I was doing like the creeper in the background look. So here we go. And this gives you ideas. So there's Jared and Sasha. And someone says,
Well,
"Why are you
the
wearing
lady
a
that took
palette?"
the photo,
People were saying, "Why?" That guy is, "Why were you wearing a Palestinian scarf?"
because it's a Harry Potter crest scarf. Like,
Yeah,
hello, do we not know the crests of Harry Potter? The houses? It's Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, and Gryffindor.
I doubt Jared knew that.
Well,
Anyway,
Jared probably didn't.
no,
You can't
I
tell me some of the millennials at that thing didn't know that that was a Harry Potter scarf.
oh, I'm sure they did, yeah. So, but I doubt Jared knew what that was. So it was a fun time,
Oh, Jared
and
probably didn't, but he knew it wasn't a Palestinian scarf, I'm sure.
yeah. And guys, if you just started here, joined us, thank you. We're on Rumble, YouTube, and X. And before the show ends, we'll shut down YouTube and we will debut my funky dance. The reason I don't show it on YouTube is because I play music and everything's copyright on YouTube. So, that's why I don't play
Hmm.
music on YouTube. So, just so you guys know that. But yeah, a really good time with that. Um, a couple other things. I'll let you choose, Sasha. Do you want to talk about the movie The Heretic? Do you want to talk about healthcare? Do you want to talk about his
No, I'm in a
nominations?
better mood now and I don't have a headache anymore. And you called me earlier to deal with our insurance, and all it did was make my head hurt worse. And I had to bow down and take some medicine for it and lay down. And then I didn't go to work tonight. I called and said, can I just go in? Because I'm off next week. Can I just go in sometime next week? And it's like, yep. So now I'll probably have to go in tomorrow because
Yeah,
Sunday's not going to
because
work because
it's a
I'm
little
going to
different.
the movies Sunday and I'm going to the movies Monday. And so I have to be at work 8 hours. And the only way I'd be able to get off by work would be if I went in at like 7 in the morning, which is not
All
going to
right.
happen.
So when are you going into work?
Probably tomorrow. I have to go to
Tomorrow.
my
Okay.
dad's in the morning, drop stuff off at the thrift store, and then I'm going to go there, get stuff, then probably come back, go right to work, and then work till like 10 o'clock at night or whatever, and then come home, rest, and then Sunday try to get some work done around
Yeah,
here. So I don't
and
get a break. I get to work my week off, so that kind of
yeah,
sucks.
it's been a busy year. We think about it, but the
Well,
reason is kind of,
moving.
well, yeah, the reason it's been really busy, like with the healthcare, because now we're married, so we got to get on the same plan, and every year it gets more and more expensive. And I don't know what plans you guys have, but the plans that have offered to us, they all suck and they're all expensive and high deductibles, and
Yep.
the whole thing is a scam. I don't,
Double what I was paying last
how
this
much
year.
we got to figure, because I got to figure it for our taxes for deductions. But how much would you guess we spent this year in healthcare costs out of our pocket,
Well, I
us
don't know.
combined?
I had a surgery that was like $8,000
Right.
because I had to do it at the hospital because the surgery center was full. And if I had known that, because it wasn't an emergency, I would have just said, like,
Mhm.
fine, wait till the surgery center's open. So that was
Mhm.
8,000 right there. And then I had that breast thing early in the year because they scared me. Oh, you might have breast cancer, and I didn't. And I'm almost thinking that's a scam because every woman I talk to has had some scare. Like
Yeah.
some of my friends have too, and I'm like, is this just a way for them to rip you off? But then insurance barely paid for any of that. That was $1,000. So that's $9,000 right there. And then I had to get like an endoscopy and a colonoscopy at the same time. That was actually cheaper because when you're 45, you're supposed to get one. And my dad died of colon cancer. So I had things kind of going for me to help insurance pay for more of it. And that ended up being about $500. So what are we at? Like
It's
almost 10
crazy. And
grand
then,
just for me. And then you had eye stuff.
yeah, and I went to the eye stuff. I owe like
And we
another
have
270.
insurance. And then
Yeah,
it
we have
goes to
insurance,
shit.
and we still get half. This is in addition to paying every month for insurance. We're paying for all this bullshit because insurance in America is so fucked up, and it really pisses me off
Me
how screwed
too.
up our healthcare system is, how expensive it is. Oh, it's just random how much you get charged too. I was really mad at my vision place because I paid them $100, and well, that's your copay. Yep, you're all. That's it, no more. Then they send me another bill. It's just random shit. And then I went again because I have a cataract, which I'm going to delay because that's going to be like $8,000.
I've got a
And
cataract too, so
it's just really crazy, the costs, and insurance hardly pays for shit. The only thing the insurance I guess is kind of good for is if you should have like a catastrophic thing like a heart attack, then you would only own like the whatever your max pay, like 11,000, and they pay the rest or whatever. So it'll prevent you from going into bankruptcy for anything major, but it hardly covers. It does cover, like I had a colonoscopy and regular checkups. It does cover, but anything else, you're just kind of fucked. It's
I
just the
wonder
way it
even
is.
how much though if people have cancer and stuff. Because like my friend that takes care of the cemetery, the guy that used to be the accountant there, he died, I
Hmm.
don't know, 10 years ago. He was a nice
Yeah.
man. I met him before. He had a bunch of different cancer, and I'm pretty sure the guy had health insurance. He had to go to Houston or somewhere to get like treatment they couldn't do
Yeah.
here. And Mark told me he ended up paying, like they said, altogether ended up being like $1 million for all the shit that guy had to do,
Oh yeah.
because they called him the $1 million man because of all the health stuff. And it's like, at some point, it's kind of almost like, why are we even paying for insurance? I told you if I knew I didn't have to get my cataract or anything come up next year, I just say fuck it, not even like get the insurance and just pay. I don't know. But then when you're older, you never know. Something could go wrong and
Yeah, well,
then you
that's
don't
the
get
situation to
in.
me. I'm too young for Medicare. Is that what the old people are, Medicare or
Yeah,
Medicaid
Medicare.
care? So
Medicaid is
that's
for poor
I
people.
have a few years for Medicare, so I still have to get insurance. And who knows at my age, like, God forbid, I don't have a heart attack or something. But a lot of people do, at my age.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so you
and
got to
that
have,
happened to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just say that kind of happened to my friend Mark. He before Obamacare came, he was like self-employed or he contracted,
Yeah.
I guess. So he didn't get insurance and he made a little too much to get Medicaid. So he didn't have insurance and then he ended up having like his intestine got twisted around. He almost died. And this is how much they don't care about you. He went in and he went to the emergency room because he was in so much pain. And then they looked at him and told him and they ended up letting him go home. And then he went home and he got sick again and he went back in and they're like, okay, we're going to do surgery now. But they didn't care about him because he didn't have insurance. And Arkansas wouldn't let him get on Medicaid because he didn't apply for it beforehand and he didn't get anything on the market. Eventually he had to, but he said his bill, this was like 10 years ago or 11, 12 years ago. It was ended up being like 60 grand to the hospital. Now it'd probably be 160 grand. It'd be
Yeah.
something insane. And he said he paid the surgeon. The surgeon owed them like 6,000. He said he paid the surgeon, he paid the emergency room because I don't have 60 grand to just give. And they didn't, I'm surprised they didn't come after him, but it's like you can't get blood out of a turnip. But it's just insane. There's no reason this shit needs to be so expensive. I don't even understand why this stuff is so freaking expensive. Like the colonoscopy, endoscopy thing, it took like 20 minutes. Like they even told me they were this 20 minutes. So why 20 minutes? And then they charge my insurance, God only knows what, because I had to pay like $500 because then you have to
Yeah.
pay, you got to pay the anesthesiologist, you got to pay the pathologist, you got to pay the doctor, you got to pay, and it's fucking ridiculous. So yes, I don't want to talk about healthcare, and here we are, and I'm going off because it just pisses me off.
It is just crazy. And what really burns my ass is these illegals come in and they get it for free.
Or
It's
these
just,
people that have kids every 9 months, they come over here and squat across the border. People like that too, or these people in the ghettos have all these kids, and then we pay for it, and it's just like,
well,
no,
you know
you should
what?
have to pay.
Who are really screws are people like us, and I imagine most of the people in our audience. So if you're really rich, let's say like not even Elon Musk, but let's say multimillionaire, it doesn't bother you. You could just, pay it off, whatever, right?
Right.
Like Scott Adams, so he's worth like 75 million. He doesn't have to worry about that sort of thing. Or people that are real poor, they get it all free too. It's sort of
Hmm.
the middle class. And what's happened, yeah,
Or the
we could
working
try to
poor.
go without insurance and just pay out of pocket. I've had to do that before
Me
in my
too.
life. But the problem is if you have a major thing, they're going to, if you have any savings, which we do, we don't have a lot, but we have some, they're going to take that all. So
Or land.
everything you accumulate in your life, they will steal from you before you can get on this. So it's like, it's just a screw job for normal people. And and I was telling Sasha, neither candidate for president, Trump or Kamala, talked about a healthcare plan or even talked about it. I know Trump said he's got some amazing one in his mind, but I think
No, he
he's mostly a
doesn't.
bullshitter. And
Part of this is his fault. Well, it's
Kamala
Obama's
didn't
fault
have
too, but
anything. Yeah, I mean, there's no control.
all
It's
that
just going out of
inflation.
control.
Because
It's I
before like COVID, when he put all those stimulus checks out into the
Yeah,
orbit, like my insurance was decent. It wasn't crazy. The copay I think was like 2,500. Now it's like 10,000, and that happened within
right.
5 years. And I know Biden made it worse, but it started under Trump. And it's just like I don't know, maybe do something. And then I'm sorry, I'm kind of annoyed with Trump and Elon Musk at this point because every time I go on X, Elon shows up in my feed. We need to give more green cards and we need to make the immigration process faster to get in here. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, hello,
Yeah.
we don't want people here. I'm so sick of this. As long as they're legal, we're full.
And
It's just
then
like
they talk
there's nobody good to vote for. Nobody cares because
and
they
then
all benefit from it.
they talk about stuff that's just crazy. Like I posted on X today. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, whatever. They're going to cut money, and they're like, "Hey, what do you guys think? Should we eliminate the income tax?" And I'm like, "Why are you even asking that? You can't even get your nominees through the Senate. You can't get Gates through, and you think you're going to eliminate the income tax? Please, it's just not going to happen." And because you have Congress and they're not going to go for that. So it's just, I mean, why not promise a unicorn or something? It's just as about as likely to happen. And I don't mean to be black
Well,
pilled, but I mean, this is just realistic. If you think
I
you're
kind
not
of
going to,
am.
like, if you think they're going to eliminate tax on tips or they're going to eliminate the income tax or they're even talking about, I would like eliminate capital gains tax on crypto, and that's why it's gone up a lot. I love that. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that Trump is pushing that, but color me skeptical that it's going to get through the Congress, and then they'll say, "Oh well, we tried, but we couldn't do anything." I don't know.
I don't know. I'm kind of like going to AMRen kind of white pilled me some because there's so many like minded people that were like normal, that were like
Hmm.
us, you know what I mean? And so then it was like,
Right.
oh, great. And then you go on X and you see all this stuff and you're just like, oh, what the hell? Like, okay, so we have to deport all the illegal people, but we're just going to bring a bunch
Hmm.
of more Indians in here until our country turns
Yeah.
into India 2.0. And then Elon's tweeting stuff about how much better minorities do in America than white people. I saw that this morning. I was scrolling
Yeah.
through. And it's like, yeah, probably because they get benefits we don't get. Wasn't it you
Exactly.
told
They
me that they
do.
get benefits for like starting businesses because they're
Yes.
brown?
That's
Like,
like when
what
you
the
have all these
fuck? Why is that
hotels
a
get
good thing?
the small business gives them preference and they over white people. It's just it's crazy. And and then there's so much nepotism. I work with Indians. There's some good people, but a lot of them a lot of them corrupt and they fake their resumes. I know everyone does, but they do more so. It's just really, and if the Indians are so smart, why does India look like India? That's the thing that no
Right.
one really answers. And Indians are starting to come. I know Canada has a big problem with them, but even in our Arkansas, we do. And again, I'm not against all Indian people. I like Vivek and others. We met Kumar, half Indian,
Yeah,
but
Kumar was nice.
this is still our culture. It's not. I've never been an IQ guy, nationalist, like, oh, as good as replaced as long as with smart people. First of all, most Indians aren't high IQ. We get the best. Actually, I think the average in India is lower than here in America. Same with China. But that's not the point. We want our home. It's just, but it's almost like they always have to do a trade-off. So to keep the Venezuelan gangbangers out and the Haitians eating our pets out, we have to trade that for Indians or something like that. Why
Right.
can't we just have our interest? And they do this all the time, Republicans, like, oh, affirmative action, it really hurts Asians, and or, oh, we can't
Right.
have immigration like into Europe because it will hurt the Jews or homosexuals. But no one will fight for our interests. That's like considered evil. And I'm just tired of it. And I'm not against Elon Musk. He's been great. God bless him. And he's really opened up a lot of conversations. Like, he thinks it's kind of sick how we're supposed to pretend, we hate our ancestors just because we're white. He's against that. And he's against DEI and all this bullshit. And so, I mean, there's white pills there. That's progress. But they're still kind of stuck in the, we have to have a trade-off. So if we don't have Venezuelan gangbangers, we have to have Indians. That's our choice. And like, there's a third option. We could just have the homeland for our people. How about that, right? Why do we have to bring everyone else in the world
Well,
in?
and why is it always America and Europe that has to take everybody in?
Because
I
their
can't just go
places are
move to
shit.
Japan.
Because
They're
they
not going to
can't.
let me go over there. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
because their
but they can
countries
come
are shit.
here.
They're shit.
Well, and they want the
can't
cheap labor. Ann
Right.
Coulter has said this for years, and she's right. And that's why the Republicans go against this shit too. They're not as bad as the left, but they're pretty fucking close.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my language, but because they want cheap labor. They want their maids and the people to mow their lawn. Just mow your own lawn. Like,
Right,
I think America's kind of got away from that. I was listening to somebody the other day talk about Christmas decorations. They pay somebody to put the Christmas
A
decorations
lot of people
up.
do. That's
And it's
big
like,
business
isn't
now.
that part of, like, I get
I
maybe the
know.
lights, because you do have to get on a ladder, and I'm kind of scared of heights, so I wouldn't want to have to do that. But I like decorating. That's kind of the point. Why would you pay like some illegal alien to come decorate your tree? Do people not have time to do anything anymore?
I know.
Like,
What's
be on their
next?
computer?
We're
or
gonna
their
go to
phone?
We're gonna go to Home Depot and get some illegal Mexicans to open our Christmas gifts for us, so we don't have to do that work. It's crazy.
Yeah, I
And I
think
don't
it
know
was
how
even
many.
a Ticker guy was talking about that.
Yeah, I mow my lawn. I don't. I don't understand that. It's good to get out and
Well, I
outside.
was till you started mowing it.
Yeah, I like
My
getting out
dad's
there, and
lawn. Yeah.
it's something that's pretty good. So I don't really get either. Hey, we
I
got
guess
one
I'm
super.
just weird. Oh, hold on. Will you read
We
that? I'm gonna keep my coffee up.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see here. I got one. This one is for Sasha, so I'll wait till does she run off to heat her coffee up. I'll read another one. Of course, you're not Canadian, but if you want to see how insane and frankly stupid people in the Canadian government are, watch the recent hearing with Lauren Southern about. Yeah, that was about that Russian influence thing. I think KMAX sent me that link the other day about that. And that's because that company that Laura Chin started, and it was funded by a Russian businessman. But no one can find that Russian businessman. I think it was an FBI sting. Uh, and they didn't do any Russian propaganda or anything. She just took the money. And because she didn't declare it, they're making a big thing about it.
Sorry
Hey,
about
welcome
that.
back, Sasha.
So what
Yeah,
was the
someone
super chat?
we got two. The first one was about Canada, and they're doing that stupid thing with Lauren Southern because, she worked for that company
Tenant
with Laura
media.
Tennant, and she said she didn't know it was, and no one pressured her,
I
but she
saw
has
it.
to. Yeah, I think the whole thing is stupid.
I do
So
too. It seems like wouldn't they have bigger fish to fry than some e-thoughts? That's just
no,
like, can't you go like your country's being invaded and there's all this stuff going on up there. Maybe not worry about that so much.
Oh, speaking of which, you see that Milo's been going off. He's like the gay gossip
Oh
guy,
my
and
God.
he can't stand. He always attacks now. Well,
Laura
Fuentes, who's
Loomer.
the easy attack Laura Loomer and Lauren Southern, and he claims that she'd put out for a bowl of chili
I
or
said
something like that.
chili cheese fries, I think.
Yeah,
I saw that.
he's such a bitchy gay man.
He is. He's funny though. The Laura Loomer stuff is really funny. I say you should have her on the show and you can ask her how much of this stuff is true. Supposedly she pretended to be Jewish. Did you see all this
Oh,
stuff?
Jews really hate that when you pretend to be one of them. So if he claims she didn't even know how to draw the Star of David
Well, he showed a
instead.
picture of it where she
Yeah,
wasn't.
she drew the pentagram instead. Like, no, one is Satanism. Well, you could argue, but that's another story. But yeah, one is Judaism, one's Satanism. So maybe Sticks would draw the pentagram, but
I know how to draw a pentagram.
I know, but I guess she didn't know how to do that, so that was kind of funny. I don't know. Laura Loomer, she's kind of a bulldog, but supposedly Milo had to take care of get it away from Trump. And Milo, if you heard his interview on Tim
I
Pool, was that
did.
it? Yeah,
I
he
did.
said that it was Kanye's idea to try to hurt Trump because they were going to run for president. So Kanye's like, how can we get out Trump denim? And Milo goes, oh, I know how we can. Let's sneak in Nick Fuentes. And again, whatever Milo says, I take with a grain of salt.
Right, me too.
But
But some of the stuff's kind of coming true with the Laura Loomer stuff because he said that she sexually harassed some guy. And there was a video of some guy who's part of some young Republicans club. It's on his X if you anybody wants to watch it. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a 5-minute video or something where this guy's talking about how she stalked him. And then when he wouldn't sleep with her, she told everyone he was gay. Just like all this stuff. And then he showed that I had seen this, Mr. Mediker showed this years ago, and Mosca showed it to me, where she was hitting on some guy at like some party or something. And she was just like, I've got Ashkenaz, or what she say? She says, I have Ashkenazi brain and big tits or something like that. And she was all hanging all over the guy, and you could tell the guy was uncomfortable. I almost felt bad for her because I thought if she was a little prettier, she would be able to get a guy. But it's kind of like, I don't know, she messed her face up pretty bad because there was pictures of her before and she didn't look as bad. And she got bad plastic surgery, and it's like I kind of feel sorry for her.
Lauren Southern, you could tell, also got plastic surgery too.
She did. Why does everybody in their 20s get plastic? That's something for people my age. That's not for like young 20-year-old girls. It's bizarre to me. All these girls are getting filler, and they're like in their 20s. And me and Brandon were talking about that because they're going to screw their faces up when they're older, and it's kind of like you just never know.
Right. Yeah, I thought it
Wait till
was.
you're like my age, and then if you really have to do something, do it. Even then, I'm kind of like, I don't even know if I would want to unless my eyelids start getting droopy or something. I could see
and
that.
I
But
know girls always follow fashions, but their plastic surgery always tries to make them look identical.
They
I can't explain it, but
do.
it's yeah. And if let's see, videograms. Thank you, Tip. I really enjoyed AMRen. So many interested people. Great making new friends. Yeah, it's funny because Session and I were there. There's more to this question, but one of the things is if they showed this to everyone, people are like, "What the hell? What's the big deal about this? This is nothing radical at this conference at all. At all." I was glad to see both of you there, and I thought your speech was very nice. A light break. I really like that. So yeah, mine was a little different than others. So thank you
Yeah,
for that
I
feedback.
loved your speech. It was funny. Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed meeting so many nice people. If you were a girl and you were like young and you wanted a boyfriend, should go to AMRen. Like, there's a lot of dudes there, and there's some nice looking guys there too. And you're just like, wow. If more like women knew, more women would probably be on the right. You always say women follow. It's just like, yeah,
Mhm.
they need to learn. Of course, there'd be a
Mhm.
lot of gay men that would probably go there too if they knew.
Yeah, and they didn't always fit the stereotype. Sasha and I introduced her to this one guy. And obviously I won't say names, but he looked like a guy that'd be like on the beach or something. You know who I mean, right?
Oh, he was cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Look
So,
at
but
Buddy.
what's happening there?
Just look
Yeah,
at him. Isn't he
yeah. Oh, he's
cute?
looking right at the camera. That's so neat. Hi,
Yeah.
buddy. The
He
black
needs a new
cat.
collar. Look
Uh,
at how
we
cute he
got
is.
we got a power chat from Lewis. What if you and Sasha moved to Liberia to bring civilization to the Liberian people? Would be lots of good footage. Yeah, I kind of believe in the prime directive of Star Trek. Just leave kind of other savages, other savages, other societies that haven't progressed alone. Freudian slip there. Yeah, I'm not interested. I don't really think it should be our place to try to enlighten other cultures, really. We
Everyone's
just have,
saying Buddy's gorgeous.
yeah, he's a nice cat. I think, part Siamese. He's got that kind of weird Siamese meow.
He's a nice looking. He's a real friendly little guy
Oh,
too.
and he plays fetch. He's
He
more dog in
does.
some ways than Button. Button doesn't play fetch. I throw the tennis ball
Yeah,
Button. She's like, "What the hell do you want me to do with that?"
he plays fetch and he chews up toys, like
Yeah,
guts them like a dog would.
yeah. He doesn't eat cat, and yeah, he's like a Ethot cat now, but a boy.
Yes. If he knew, he'd be scared to death because he's really kind of shy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get him a new collar on Black Friday. I got Butt and a raincoat already.
I can't believe how quick everything's going this year. This year's just it's scary how fast time goes. It's just incredibly scary because we're already at Thanksgiving pretty soon, and then Christmas, and it's like my gosh, you know. Um,
Well, and then
we
like every weekend between now and Christmas, something's going on. There's a Christmas party. We're having a
yeah, we
Christmas
have one for
party. I've got
Dave.
to go
He's our
do
real
something
life
for
friend,
you
and
for Christmas. That's a surprise.
yeah, and so it's pretty crazy. So
And then I have
um,
tickets to see My Neighbor Totoro with Brando. Oh, and he's going to Japan.
mhm.
Like that's another thing. He wanted us to go, but I was like, I just don't have time because I'm moving. And I told him we'd go next year, and he bought his ticket and everything. And he's like, "What do you want from over there?" And so I kind of showed him some stuff, and I've got to kind of go keep an eye on his mom though, so I get to mom sit for Brandon.
He'll really stick out being that tall.
Yeah, I
He's
think he's
six
gonna
foot
have
eight.
fun.
Yeah, he'll have fun. I'm happy. Sasha and I talked about we want to go sometime.
Yeah, I really
And
want to go. He's going to go to Disney Tokyo the first day he's there, and he's going to go to Universal Studios. He wanted to go to the Studio Ghibli thing, but there's like a wait to even get a ticket. Like I guess they sell tickets in advance, and then once they sell out for a certain time period, you have to wait. So if we wanted to go next year, we need to figure out when we want to go and then buy a ticket or get on the list to
yeah,
get one because I think it's fairly new. And he said there's a Nintendo museum too, and I don't know if he's going to that, but I said we should go to the Nintendo museum when we go. I think I would love it because I know they have a lot of toy stores there. Oh, I bet they have a cat cafe there too. And they have a Hello Kitty amusement park. And he's not going to that because he was like, yeah, I'm almost a 50-year-old man. It'd be weird if I went to a Hello Kitty thing. But he said when we go next year, we can all go to the Hello Kitty amusement park.
I went to in Budapest. They had a cat cafe. It's really neat. There's cats that go around. You can pet, and if you pay $100, you can pick out a cat and they'll fry it up for you. But I
Oh,
didn't
they
do
do
that.
not. They do not.
So
You're lying.
so
Nope.
what are you getting? What's the surprise? Are you getting me the torso?
No, I'm not getting you a torso. It's got something to do with button.
That's a inside joke session I had because there's this weird. How did we ever find that or something? Or did I do that to troll you?
You did that as a troll. He told me he wanted like I was like, what do you want for Christmas? And he said, I don't even remember how we got on that because we watched a video or something where some weirdo talked about a torso or there was something.
Mhm.
And yeah, and you were like looked at reviews or whatever. And I remember some guy said it was the threesome I always wanted. So him and
Yeah,
his wife slept
in
with his
case you guys don't
torso.
know, it's like a sex torso. It's just like a
Uh,
inflatable doll, but just not the
it's
whole
not a doll
limbs.
though. It's
No, it's
basically
just
if
a
the head's
torso.
missing and
Yeah.
the legs were missing and the arms were missing. It's just kind of like the upper body without the arms and the head.
That is so weird. I know one of the reviews was my husband and I really enjoyed it. I'm like, this is so bizarre.
It is.
I
And so
know.
I
So
said, "What do you want for Christmas?" And you were like, "Let me figure something out." And I walked over by you, and you had the screen up, like that's what you were going to put on your list.
I know. That's that is pretty crazy.
No, I could tell you what it is, but
No, don't burn it. That's
all
fine.
right.
I like the surprise, and you gotta give me your shopping list too. So hopefully it'd be
I want a
fun.
Nintendo Switch, but it's like $300.
Well, geez.
Because I want to play the new Donkey Kong versus Mario game and the new Princess Peach game and the new Zelda game. I'm way behind, and that would be nice because I could take that to work and play on my lunch break.
Yeah. Well,
Whereas like the PS5, you can't do that.
the super chats are gonna have to do a lot better for that. I tell you that. $300.
Yeah, guys, we need to get a GoFundMe to buy me a Switch.
Yeah, yeah.
Buddy will
That's
start an OnlyFans and he will take exclusive pictures.
hey, at least that's more honest than doing like Boogie where we fake cancer to raise money. That's got to be the lowest thing in the world to
It
do.
is. I think you get karma for that.
Yeah.
Like I really do. I think that if you do stuff like that, that's going to come back on you.
Boogie's that guy. He's a YouTube star in the Fayetteville area. He's real fat, and Sasha knew
Right.
of him before he became even
Well, I used to
famous.
see him. He used to go to this card shop, and he was this big fat guy, and that's how like I knew
You
him
said
as
he
a big
was even
fat
back
guy.
then. He was a creeper back then, right?
Yeah, I didn't really know him. I never talked to him. Like I
Right.
said, it was like I had a friend and he played D&D and
Yeah.
he knew him and he's the one that told me about all that creeper shit. And then Ralph, when you were on his show once, we talked about it and I talked to Ralph and he said that he had a porn site or he used to run a porn site or something back before he was on YouTube. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. You had that other friend of yours that did pornography or video, shot photos of
Yeah,
pornography.
I
Remember
didn't
that?
know about it. I worked with this guy. I'll tell the story because it's kind of funny. I won't use his name. He doesn't watch
Yeah.
this anyway. I don't even really care. I'm kind of annoyed with him at this point. I used to work with him and we kind of got along. It's this big fat gay guy. And because we talk old movies and stereotypical gay men shit, you know. And then I told Mosca, like, oh, I met this guy at work with him and we're going to hang out. And I told Mosca his name, and Mosca goes, or no, he knew his name before I even said it. I started to say it, and he knew, and he was like, "Does he have these certain kind of cats?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh my god." He said, "Sasha, that guy is a pornographer." And he's like, he wanted me to take dirty pictures. He used to go around to we have free lunches here. I
Mm-hmm.
guess most places probably do, but the church has a free lunch. I used to go to it when I was in my early 20s because I was poor and the lunch was free. Me and Brandon would go. It was actually pretty good, and you'd go get a lunch. Well, I guess he used to go to the free lunch because a lot of times druggies and stuff would go, and he would give guys his card or something, and he'd try to get these guys that are down on their luck to get pose nude for him. And I guess he tried to get Mosca to do that, and he wouldn't do it. And he said, because he was partying with him, because this guy was big in the gay community, and this is back when Mosca used to drink. And he said that he was hanging out with him, and I guess he tried to get him to do that. And he said he wanted me to sign a release form. And so I went to pick this guy up because we were going to hang out because I was making dinner. I remember because I had made a pot roast. And it's right after I'd known him, you know, for a little bit from work, and he doesn't drive. And so I went to get him, and he wanted to show me he was renting a couple bedrooms from this other big fat guy. This guy weighed like 600 pounds. He could not get out of his chair. And he rented like some rooms
Yeah.
from
You're
him.
not
Yeah.
exaggerating either. Yeah.
No, no. And I went over there and he was like, oh, let me show you my rooms because he collects stuff. And he had some kind of cool antiques and stuff. And then all of a sudden he has this picture like up in a frame, and it was like from some dirty magazine, and he goes, and this is the photo shoot from when I was in some magazine. And I was like, oh my god. And then Mosca's voice came booming into my head. He wanted me to sign a release form, and I was just like, oh, he's right. And so yeah, so that's the story about him. But I didn't know, I mean, and I thought, well, that was years ago, because it was years ago that Mosca knew him. It was like over 10 years ago. And I thought, well, maybe he's not as bad. And no, he's pretty bad. He came over once and he left a backpack here. I don't want to say it was like Thanksgiving or Christmas because
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I made Christmas dinner or something, and he came over, and Mosca came over, and Brandon came, like we all had Christmas together. And there was a backpack in here because me and you went out of town. I think we went to Colorado or something. And we came back, there was a red bag in here. And I thought it was Brandon's because he used to have a camera bag that was kind of red like that. And I thought, oh, this is his bag. And then later, the guy that I was just talking about, he came over because Brandon's like, that's not my bag. And he came over here and he was like, oh my God, thank God my bag's here. And he like pulls dildos out of this bag. And he's like, I was looking everywhere for these. I even went to the McDonald's. I thought maybe I left in the McDonald's bathroom. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing in the McDonald's bath? It was just so gross. And it's like, can you imagine if you had that? Why would you tell people? That's something you should be ashamed of, not like bragging that you left that at someone's house. So yeah, the
I
guy's a
no.
total degenerate, but yeah.
Yeah. He was a liberal, but he was okay unless we got on politics. He had Trump derangement syndrome. I guess he still does. And it's
He
kind of
still
interesting
does. And we
because
usually
people
have
on
Thanksgiving with him.
and there people were talking about this on X, even Elon Musk. People on the right, they don't usually disown people because of their political beliefs. That's like this weird left. They're so cultish. And you had another friend that was really fat, even fatter than this other guy. And I think we told the story,
Yeah.
but he gave you a form letter, and people are so shitty. Hey, we got another power chat from Damien. I was
Oh,
really
thank you, David. I
impressed.
wonder, yeah. Oh, go
Rams, I was
ahead.
really impressed with your knowledge of Cannibal Holocaust. Did you know the actor that played the professor was in a Spider-Man movie and an adult film? Yes, I do know that because Sasha and I just happened to be watching a thing about that. I don't know why. So, Cannibal Holocaust, what it was, the premise of the movie, it was really kind of the original Blair Witch movie. The premise, Blair Witch kind of stole the idea of they pretended it was like a real movie that some journalists were lost in the Amazon jungle. And so they had footage of them trying to find the lost journalist. And meanwhile, I guess they recovered the footage and you saw all these savages eating people and stuff like that. And so a lot of people at the time thought it was real. Kind of like Blair Witch, there were some people at the time that thought it was real. So it created a big stir. And yeah, I knew something about that guy. He used to be, he did do an adult film. I haven't seen the film. Have you, Sasha?
No, I've never seen it. No, what I was watching, Paul came down and I was watching it. It's a thing on Shudder. Shudder's like a channel that you can get through Prime. It's mostly like horror movies, but they had it was called Cursed Films, and it
Mm-hmm.
kind of shows these different films and like the issues they had making them, or people died on set, that type of thing, and it was on that Cursed Films. But yeah, like the guy did a dirty movie, and then he was in that, and I guess they killed a turtle in that, and they kind of got in trouble because of that. And they had to
Well,
go
I
before
think they
that some
used
board to prove they didn't kill like animals and
right,
that it
and
was a
it
snuff
was real
film.
low budget. Like they didn't, for the most part, have actors or just like the regular. I mean, they were just people that did it, and they did use a lot of the natives there. So obviously there was no cannibalism. They faked that, but a lot of people thought it was real. And I think they even in Italy there was a talk. The police looked into it because they thought they were doing like a snuff film or something. Uh, do you think those are real snuff films or is that urban
They
myth?
did.
You think so? Where they killed people on film?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's I doubt there's many of them. At least not mainstream like that, because you'd go to jail,
You would
I
think
would
so, yeah. I
think.
always thought they're kind of urban myths, but I don't know. Some people think they're real.
But yeah, I haven't
Uh,
actually seen it. I might watch it at some point.
yeah, that's kind of cool. So, thank you for that. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
And we also saw the other week since we didn't weren't able to do night owls last week because we were driving to Tennessee. But the week prior, we saw the movie Heretic, and it was basically just three people in the movie, and it was starring as the man Hugh Grant, and there was two girls, Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, and I thought both were attractive, and they were like young girls playing Mormon missionaries, and the guy brings them into his house. And basically, he kind of traps them and makes them do things. But it was also a study of religion. What was your opinion of the movie? Then I'll give you my opinion of it.
It was good, but I'd already kind of forgotten. It didn't stick with me like a lot of movies do. There was parts of it that were kind of slow. But I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be. I didn't think it was going to be like a hack 'em up movie, which is fine. I'm more about plots than just violence. I mean, the
Yeah,
acting was good and everything, but it could have.
it
I
seemed
was good, but it could have been better.
it seemed to me like almost a Reddit atheist thing you would have saw in 2008, because it was kind of arguing against religions, I guess. And it kind of made me frustrated because I could counter the arguments, but they're acting like these arguments were valid. So it was kind of a pseudo atheist type movie, like you would get on Reddit back in the day. I think they've all gone away, but and it was kind of like almost like an escape room, would you say, type feel where they had to escape the house and figure out how
Yeah,
to get out.
it
It was
was.
that type of theme. I wouldn't. It's probably already out of the theaters anyway. If it happens to be on and you get it for free,
No, I
check it
think it's
out. It's
still
not a bad
playing.
movie. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah,
My
no, it's
I
good.
give it a 3 star out of 5, which means good, but not like you said. It's forgettable. What is interesting though, because there's only three actors in the movie, it was all I think white. Um, uh, I assume they were both was. Let me see. Were they both? Let's see here. Well, it's Chloe East. I don't know which one was who. Which one was the blonde? I think Chloe was a blonde. Oh, she was a Mormon in real life. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Me either.
So yeah, but I thought the acting was good, and I would, yeah, if it happens to be on, I would definitely check it out. It's not too bloody of a movie. It's more of a philosophical movie about like God and atheism and that sort of thing, with a horror plot over top of it. And so I did enjoy that. The other thing I wanted to touch on, what's your feeling so far about how the transition's going, and specifically the Gates pulling out of the nomination? Were you disappointed about that, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was, because I kind of want them to get somebody that the left hates. I don't want any more neocon types, and I think he's a little better than that.
Yeah, it just shows that Trump won't be able to do everything he wants because there is a Senate. He's not a dictator. And a lot of people are like, oh, Trump's already cucking. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He didn't tell Matt Gaetz to step down. He just going to get him through the Senate process. And the Senate leader is not going to put the Senate in recess, because then he could do recess appointments. So I don't know what people want Trump to do. He can't magically put him in. He can't dissolve the Senate or Congress, as nice as that may be. So there's some reality here. You got to get people that are going to get through the Senate. That's just, I don't know why you picked him, because you think he would have checked beforehand if he had the votes in the Senate. So he picked some lady, blonde lady, Bondi or something like that, was his lawyer at the impeachment. I guess she'll be okay. I really don't know much about her for Department of Justice. So I try to temper people that with expectations, temper expectations, because I think Trump will be an improvement. But I also want to, you know, understand a lot of the stuff he talked about. No, we're not eliminating the income tax. No, we're probably not going to eliminate capital gains on crypto. No, we're probably not going to eliminate, taxes on tips. No, we're not going to deport everyone. But I do think the border will be better. There'll be fewer illegals coming in, and there will be a subset that gets deported, especially the criminal element. I do think he's going to negotiate a peace with Russia, so that's good news. And he does, I think they're going to advocate, try to get DEI out of the government. That's a big issue, because the government, when I was in the corporate world, we even had that. If you had to get a contract with the government, you had to show that you were promoting so many blacks or homosexuals or stuff like that. So that was a kind of a government requirement. I think that would be good if we can get us out of that. So I think there's a lot of positive things this administration can do, but I think we need to temper our expectations and not get all black-pilled and start crying all the time, because I don't know. I don't expect all that to happen.
I
What's
just
your thoughts
expect
on
him
that?
to be better than Kamala.
Yeah.
Oh, I just think he'll be better than Kamala. And maybe they can, at least we know gas will be cheaper. I didn't expect like a lot of real change. Like he promised the moon to get elected. I get it. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to be like super disappointed. But I'm not going to get my hopes up about everything either.
Yeah. Uh, I think this, I think that's the case. So, and let's see here. Well, Sasha, it's been an hour. Should we just go over to Rumble and debut the funky dance?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so guys, if you're on YouTube, I'm going to shut down YouTube, and the reason is because there's music, and YouTube doesn't allow music copyright type thing. So, but I'll be on X and Rumbles, and then we'll do the funky dance, and then right now it's kind of private or unlisted, but after I do it, I'll make it public for everyone to see. So, let me just let's see here. Remove the YouTube. How do I remove that? Oh yeah, here we go. Remove YouTube.